diamond. Oh, God, I hate hearing my voice. Like, fucking A. Alright. I don't know why, I just do not like hearing my voice.
I think most people don't actually.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Anyways. Okay, so like my biggest my concerns with not even your gameplay is the fact that you've been playing seriously for 2 years, right? But never have you compared your VODs with the pro. Right?
So should I guess, I mean, I've watched pros, but I guess I've never seriously like analyzed their plays and stuff.
Right, and that comes back with like actually trying to get better at the game, right? I can guarantee you, if you just spend a little bit of time watching the game, and then just compare, like if you literally, like if you just do this, I'll show you in a second. Hold on. Holy shit! What the fuck? Wait up. Like, it doesn't even have to be, like, a fucking whole game, right? Like, if you just do this, right? If you just do this, and you just spot the differences, then that's all you need to do. If you just spot the differences, and you do this regularly, for 2 years you do this regularly, or had you done this regularly for 2 years, you would be sitting at Masters right now, let alone Diamond. Because you have the ability to literally look at what he does, and then look at yourself. And then you can spot the very glaring, obvious differences. It's not hard. You don't have to be a coach to do this. You don't have to be some mastermind to do this either. You can just look at what Uzi does, look at what you do, and just copy-paste. You're essentially just copying someone. That's all you're doing. And you copy every little detail. And that's how you improve. Because if you put Uzi in your games, he would literally backhand half these players. Like, he wouldn't even need a team. Right?
Yep.
He would just, the game would be over. But there's things that Uzi does that you don't do. And I can sit here and explain them to you, but you're not going to realize and understand them until you've seen it for yourself.
Right.
Right. We'll obviously talk about this a little bit as we go into the session, but this is your biggest flaw, where you're just not looking for refinement, even though you are looking for coaching, which is counterintuitive, right? But you need to do these things, and you will improve, right?
Okay.
That's just the beginning. Okay, so let's actually talk about the game now. There's a quote: when you improve skill, you can improve style. But that's for Kung Fu.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I don't think that really applies too much to League, but it might. It might. You know, I can probably make it apply to League.
Sure. Yeah.
I can probably fucking make it apply to League. Have you watched Kung Fu Panda? All right. No,
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
Both the movies.
I don't know where
and
I don't know where I'm going with this, by the way. But anyways, whatever. Anyways, so look. Okay. This is all whatever. Right? This is fine. Let's get into the lane. And when Jin moves in, okay, so look how he enters the lane. He enters the lane like a donkey. And when he does this, shoot him like a donkey. Now look what he does. There's no safety in this region, right? You auto this. This is whatever. This is standard. You auto right here. Move into him like this. Give him a Q. He's already chunked. Put him at half health. Don't auto him, because if you auto him, these minions jump on you, and Sona doesn't have the brain cells to actually respond, right? But don't just like. Don't just let him do this for free. You're letting him walk over you. Walk here, give him a Q. You're gonna see this all the time. You're gonna see this, like let me explain something. Hold on, let me show you. If we just go to Dopa Ezreal, right? And we just watch his Ezreal play. Watch what he does. Let's get into the lane phase. This is a little bit blurry, but that's okay. Hold on. I mean, most Ezreals do this. I just picked Dopa because, why the fuck not, right? Whatever. Look what he does. Look what he's already chasing for the Q. He's looking for it. He gives the Q. Yeah, he gets aggroed by minions, but it's whatever. This is what he does. You don't ever do that. Okay, let's look at we look at Uzi Ezreal, right? Let's look at Uzi's Ezreal. Let's see what he does. All right, well, Doritos, give it a minute.
Am I not afraid of the Zyra counter?
No,
damage?
Zyra's not there. Zyra isn't there. She can't do anything. Right? And if Zyra does respond to you, how is she gonna hit you at level 1? What is she gonna do to you at level 1? With Sona present with you.
Well, if we're assuming that Sona isn't gonna be present, do
Yeah,
I
but-
still go for the trade?
Yeah, because we have to assume Sona's gonna be present.
Understandable.
Right? We should assume that Sona's gonna be present. Now, let's see what happens here in this lane phase. This one's just gonna be very subtle. Level 1 happened. What the fuck is he doing? He comes late to lane. God damn it, Uzi. Okay, but you get the idea, right? He's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna look for the Q. Obviously, just look at this in your own time. But this is a very subtle Ezreal opening that you could do. Anyways, so you auto the minion here, and then like, look at the way you click your mouse. It's not bad. And okay, so you get hit by that. That's bad. You respond, whatever. You don't move back immediately when you're on cooldown. You don't use the bush, so we can always just use the bush. Auto back into the bush. Auto back into the bush. We never utilize this. You should also always be doing that. And then we're just actively looking to push. And then here, like, spam ping assistance, because when you don't communicate with your support, she doesn't understand. She needs to auto these minions. If she doesn't, you lose level 2. If you get level 2 in this lane, you win the lane, because look how chunk Zyra is. If you just get level 2 and Zyra makes the stupid mistake to walk in, you E in, you auto, you Q, and then Sona auto, she's dead. She's actually just dead.
You're right. Yep.
Right? But you don't communicate with this. And this comes back to the fact that you're not... And this is the issue with Diamond players, where they understand what to do with the game. They don't ever do it. They don't ever, like, actually physically complete the win conditions. Because the win condition here is obvious. It's a quad range, you know, lane. And when I mean by quad range, I mean all 4 champions have range. Right? Now we can now obviously I'm going to be talking about different lane phases with you, not just this game in general. But if Zyra was substituted with a Braum or a Leona, I think Leona's a better example. Well, what would you do then? What's your opening?
Opening as in level 1?
Yeah, what do you do with the wave if that's the Leona?
I try to get level 2 advantage before she does.
Okay, but
Otherwise.
But that's like every lane. That's most lanes.
Poker before.
Okay, but
At
what do you do with the wave? What do you do if this is a Leona and this is not a Zyra? Because when I coach you, I'm not gonna coach you just with respects to the game. We actually haven't even talked about the game yet. We're gonna talk about the game very soon, but we have to get lane openings down first, because that's one of your few flaws, right? If you can fix the blueprints, if you can fix the base, everything else is a lot easier to do. So what do you think you do with the wave if this is a Leona, or if this is a Thresh, Alistar, like not a ranged champion?
I don't know if it's correct, but I'll let them push it into me so that it's harder for them to tower dive, I guess, since the tower's right there.
Okay.
And it's safer if I do get caught.
So you may potentially give up level 2. You don't always surrender level 2 immediately, right? So one thing in some cases you can, but in most cases there's other openings. The first opening is very simple, right? Because you have the ranged support and he has the melee support, you inherently have the ranged advantage. Now, what does the range advantage do? Right? It gives you the ability to push the wave. So if you hard push the wave early, obviously not too hard because you want to actually proc level 2 on the 9th minion, but if you just push the wave and Leona's like level 2 and then you're level 2 and then you whatever happens, and then you simply bounce back the next incoming wave, by the time Leona is level 3, you're going to play the lane here, which puts you in safety and Sona in safety. That's the first opening. You can bounce waves in order to grant safety to your laners. That's openings you can do.
What's like the position in which the wave like bounces? So I slow push first wave, right?
Well, not really. But yeah, technically you can slow push the first wave because you want to get level 2. If you hard push, they're in no proximity to proc 2 on them. And then you can slow push the first wave, you can hard push the next incoming wave, but you have to just time it. Make sure the next incoming third or fourth wave, depending on what the jungler is and what, how good your support is. If it aligns simply when it aligns, it's going to bounce back into you. So the fourth wave or the fifth wave will be played here, thus it's going to be around the same time when the melee support is going to hit level 3. And Braum, Leona, Alistar, Thresh, all these champions, aside from Thresh, are very level 3 reliant. Right?
Where should the third wave meet for it to bounce back? Like at their tower?
Yeah, like the third wave should just be here, and it should just come back into you. It can even be the fourth wave. Don't just take the third wave or the fourth wave as, okay, it always has to be this. No, that's not necessarily correct. You can even bounce back the fifth wave, right? And then have them level 3 under tower, because you are playing Ezreal, and depending if your support hasn't escaped, like if your support is Rakan or something, right? But in this case, you have to acknowledge that there are openings with the waves you can put in order to grant safety to not only yourself, but also your inting support. If Sona gets caught, it's also your fault for not manipulating the wave properly, right? Now, obviously, there's other openings, right? And this comes back with style that you're going to see a lot of ADCs play out, right? And once again, style is not something that you need to worry about, and style is only style. People only have styles at like pro play. They don't have styles in any lower than that. And people will disagree, but it's true. You simply keep the wave in the center. You watch Double Lift sometimes, right? Like you watch some of his streams, he might talk about this stuff. Yeah, I have to keep the wave in the center. In which case, you don't actually have to shove, because Targon stacks exist. Can't just forget about those either. So if the enemy decides to actually take some damage and continue the push against you, then yeah, you can keep the wave in the center. Therefore, you don't just hard shove the wave. Or you can simply have the wave a little bit closer to you. But you have the range advantage, so you're allowed to do that stuff. Which in this case, your support will be like Master or Challenger, which in this case they'll also understand. But you also have to like be like, for you to get there, you have to understand it first. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
Okay, like those are two openings you can do versus these supports. Now going back to this lane, because it's a quad range, lane, both have potency to get level 2. Neither lanes are in any danger if they do play under tower. In fact, if you do play them under tower, it's really good for you because Sona can just poke and you can tether, right? Zyra's not going to all-in you at level 3 the way like Leona does or the way Alistar does. It just doesn't work like that, right? So, because that's the case, like, why don't you just tell your support to shove with you? Because you're losing out on the push. Or just type it in, shove early, please. Because these players will not understand, they're low diamond. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So, like, shove. Like, you have to already be shoving. And then, you're using the bush finally, right? After, like, so long. And now, you've already lost level 2, right? And then, they're gonna proc level... Like, see how bad they are? Look how far they are when they proc level 2. They should already be here, up into your faces. And you should have already been back.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
Yeah, so this just comes back with... And then you turn on her. And then you walk back. Like, your click is here. I know you're trying to dodge it, but like, why don't you just keep going this way and then dodge this way? There's room, unless she angles it in a way where you get hit, but that's okay because then Jhin can't respond, and then she takes a lethal trade because then Sona's here, and then you just pop a potion, right? But you don't walk back. That's going into Jin's range, and then once you get hit by the W, it's like, it's bad, right? Here you should have already healed.
Yeah.
Should have already healed now, and you flash now, and your camera movement is way too far away from yourself, so that's kind of weird. Jhin ends and flashes with the kill and takes kills you. But do you see some of the issues you're having already? Just like, not even just in this game, just in general, because of the lack of knowledge you actually possess as an ADC player. You can farm and get to Diamond 4, but for you to get any higher, you need to actually start thinking about these things, or you're not going to improve. Your support can only do so much. These supports are limited, both in mechanical ability and mental. Right?
Yeah.
But just because your support is limited doesn't excuse the fact that they're also limited. Right? Zyra is probably just as bad. Thank you for the follow. Zyra is just as bad. Right? Anyway, so we're back in the lane phase now, and now we're screwed. Because now they're just going to tether.
What do you mean by tether?
like they're gonna move. Okay, so when you go in for the CS, they're gonna play your range. What's Ezreal's range?
It's like 550.
Yeah, like 550 range with like his range, right? So he, as you go in for the CS, Jin walks in for the auto. As you back up, Jin backs up. That's tethering essentially. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but see how like the wave's now gonna come back into Jin.
Yeah.
This wave ends up clashing with the reinforcing wave quicker, thus pushing it back into Jin. And now we're not even talking about the jungler, right? Where did the jungler start? Will I be putting this on stream? It might be on YouTube, maybe.
Both junglers start bot side.
Yeah, so both junglers start bot side, right? So now the call is very simple. We're gonna last hit. We're gonna slow push the wave. If Zyra moves in like this, we're gonna ward. If Jin walks in, we know Zyra is already here. We ward. We play left side, and then we just wait for Xin Zhao to finish his clear out. We then get the recall by the time Xin Zhao is back on the right hand side, because then we have this massive wave pushing into the tower. And because we have a ranged support, they're not going to be able to actually just immediately freeze on us. Because Sona exists. She's bad, but she's not, like, a bot. Right? I mean, she might be, but... I mean, even bots will actually push. Right? So, you shove the wave in, and then the wave will then come into you. And then you're going to have the wave here at about, like... In about like 3 minutes, 50 seconds to potentially 4.5 minutes, while Xin Zhao's golems and his raptors and potentially his red is up, and then you're safe.
So a lot of it is about timing.
A lot of it about ADC is just timing, right? It's lane openings, it's the ability to last hit, it's the ability to actually go in when the enemy has cooldowns down. The problem with ADC in Diamond 4 is the fact that you're essentially a slave to your support. So if your support makes a play, you go onto it. But if she doesn't do anything the entire lane phase, it sucks. But you also have to understand that that evens out. It balances out because the enemy is not good enough either. Eventually, you're going to have players that are going to like hard carry you in support role. There's really good supports out there, right? But like you have to get good yourself before you can be supported by them.
Yeah.
Right? So here, like, you should act, like, here, I don't know what you're doing. You should be actively clicking her. When you miss an auto, you just cancel an auto there, and you keep autoing. This is fine. And then now, like, this is dangerous, so why do we move in? Knowing that Jin is up, and these minions will then encroach onto us. Because if we take a lethal trade here, which Sona has already done that for us, right? But if we take a lethal trade, and then Zyra gets the idea to realize that Sona can't respond, and you're still walking in, and then you take a terrible chunk and now you're like this much HP, what happens? The wave then comes into Jin and now he freezes. And then if he freezes, he could actually freeze potentially for that timing window that we discussed previously by the time that the enemy jungler is back on the right hand side, in which this case you're done. The lane's over for you. Because then you get ganked.
Yeah.
And although yes, Sona is a ranged support and can break the freeze, she's fucking useless. She's dead practically.
I was just really tunneled on hitting Zyra.
Yeah, so then you E out, but you E out because you're playing Ezreal. Had you been playing something else, would you be moving like that? Maybe, maybe not. But the idea still stands. Movements like this will kill you. Right?
True, yep.
Okay, do you have any questions so far about anything?
So I guess overall it's about lane openings.
Yeah.
As a summary, shove first wave. If it's against a melee and we're playing double range, right?
No, okay. Well, don't memorize it, understand it. You are capable enough to manipulate the wave in which you don't want to be playing the lane here when the enemy is level 3.
Right.
That's all you have to know.
Okay.
If you can understand that concept, you should have the ability to manipulate the wave in order to come to that to come to that conclusion. To come to that lane state. Don't just always push wave 3. Don't just always fucking freeze wave 4. Don't think of the numbers. Think of the concepts.
Okay.
The numbers will come. Right? You'll eventually get them in your head. You're going to realize, oh, okay, well, if I don't shove, this next incoming wave is going to lock, therefore I should push this wave and whatever, right? Like, that's going to happen. But you can't, you have to, the concept is what matters, not the waves. Okay? Although, yes, the general rule of thumb is that by like wave 4 or 5, the enemy should hit level 3. Therefore, you do want the wave to come back into you if it is a melee support who is, not already chunked. There's cases where the enemy support will be melee and they lose like all their health because they're being idiots. In that case, you don't have to bounce back. You can just kill them on your tower.
Yeah.
So then bouncing back is actually a mistake. But do you see how concepts are more valuable than the actual numbers? That's what people confuse, right? Now here, this pocket doesn't make any sense. We know Zyra is not dead. She still exists. She's going to be here. She should be over here. You should just be like... If she does this, you're in trouble, so you can't do that. Is she? Where is she? Actually, did she recall?
No,
oh, no,
she walks into the bush.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't be into the bush here. You can't be in the bush here. And then when this happens, this is like... Once again, it was laggy, so I had a little bit of trouble seeing. So you auto. The E is fine. It's not bad. And what you do is you get Plays TV and you watch instances like this.
Okay.
You watch instances like this, and then you try to find out, okay, where could I have landed the extra auto? Where could I have landed the better Q? Where did I miss my skill shot? Where could I have clicked? How do I refine? You do this on a consistent basis, you will get better. I can guarantee you that. Right? And I mean, you walk away, which is completely fine. This is the logical call you just have to run. But now, like, the lane state is looking really ugly for us, right? Like, if you look at lane. But then it seems like Zyra is recalling. And if Jhin pushes... Jhin is pushing, so I guess it's not so bad. Yeah, it seems like Jhin is actually just pushing the lane.
So if Jhin doesn't push there, what do I do?
Nothing. You can recall... Yeah, you can probably recall. If Jhin freezes the lane here, which he should... because there's blue minions are a lot healthier than the red minions, then you can just recall, come back with Sona, or you can just walk into Jhin, take the damage, and try to break the freeze. But you can only do that if this next incoming wave isn't too close. Because if the next incoming wave is too close to this incoming wave right here where the clash would happen, then you basically have to now spend another additional few seconds killing the next minion, which is now a cannon minion. And then what ends up happening is by the time you're done killing the cannon, the enemy support ends up coming back into the lane, in which your chunk, your Sona's back, she's useless, and if she's a high elo support, this is where she would just go top lane, right? Or mid lane. But she isn't, so she's not going to do that. And then you put your support in danger of getting 2v1 for absolutely no reason. And on top of that, you end up losing tempo, because now, because you're in base, the next incoming wave is still in the center. He now shoves the wave into your tower, and you're at tier 2 when the tower then kills your wave, and then or his wave, and then it bounces back into Jhin. And now, once again, it's the same process in which Jhin holds tempo of the lane. And then your Sona is fucking, like, I don't even know what she's gonna be doing. She has nothing to do. Maybe go mid lane, right? If you're a Sona and you're a support player, people in chat, just go mid. In this case, right? If that was the situation here, this is fine because you're trying to break the freeze here, but you don't realize that the next wave is gonna lock, right? Here, like, you can bluff. You know Zyra's not there. You have vision. You have you don't have flash, but Volibear's here. So you can E in, and then W him, and then auto Q him. Even if he chunks you out, he's not gonna take an extended trade. Because you have a potion ticking, okay? You have a wave, and then he has limited mana. So even if he blows a spell on you, it's not like he can do anything. What this forces is the wave to actually come into Jin's tower. Jin's not gonna hold the tower that way. He's not gonna hold the wave. And then what ends up happening is then you can take the recall, obviously a safer one because he might be able to stop this like recall here, and then you can come back to a potential freeze, because then what's going to happen is Jin's out of mana. He's going to now shove this wave in. He's then going to actually, if he continues to shove the next wave in, you're going to be back in lane by the time Sona's here, and now you're going to have a freeze, in which Volibear can do 1, 2, into maybe mid, and then back into bot lane. Alright?
Yeah.
Alternatively, Jhin may recall, which in this case that's fine too, because now it's a 2v1, and Zyra cannot 2v1, in which case you shove the wave into Jhin, and then have the next wave bounce back into you, which will give you a freeze. Potentially. Right?
Why is it a potential?
Because if the wave... Because it depends on when it comes out of the Nexus. That's the stuff I can't time. That's kind of, like, superhuman, in a way. Like, I can't think that far. Maybe I could if I was really, really good, but I can't think that far into the future as to know exactly... Because I don't actually even know at what intervals the Nexus... the minions come out of the Nexus. I mean, you can do the math, but, like, that's... No one does that, I think. Like, that's a little too crazy. I'm not capable of doing that. I don't think anyone in-game would even be capable of doing that, right? And now, like, see how you move away? And now he can just freeze the lane, and then if Zyra comes... and Jhin recalls, and Jhin comes back, Sona can't break the freeze alone. Because, as I said, it's a quad range lane. Meaning that Sona and Zyra can just match wave clear here. Zyra can match Sona's wave clear here. And then now you come back and it's an ugly lane state again. Right? See how he just
Yeah.
freezes? And then I tell you to not do that, but then he decides to thin the wave, which is actually pretty logical, but not really, because I think that the AoE he did to the wave was kind of bad, because now it shoves back into you. And here, I think you just recall.
I recall right now.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Maybe not. Because if you don't recall, then he has no mana. So I guess, then again, you don't have mana. But you have 1300 gold. Yeah, you could probably recall. Yeah, I think you should recall. Because if you recall, you have a freeze. Because Sona exists. Unless Zyra hard shoves the wave. Which is also a possibility. In this case, the wave may reset or bounce back into his Jhin, but it's okay because at least you're spending gold. It's just a safer route, in my opinion. Right? But if Zyra doesn't actually shove the wave, and now I'm taking into account the enemy's shortcomings as just players, if Zyra doesn't shove the wave and you end up actually retaining a freeze, it's going to line up with a potential jungle gank, because now Volibear is going to be finished his left side clear, nothing happens top, or maybe it does, who knows, he's going to come straight back to the right hand side. Depending on how good the freeze is, right? Or how big the freeze is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is essentially just your laning. Like, your laning needs improvement, and then on top of that, your mouse movements are really bad. You need to like go into like, first of all, like, click faster. Watch Uzi. Watch like other AD carries and see how they click and just copy their mouse movements. Okay.
So like, what do you mean by mouse movement?
Like watch this. Let me try to find it. Whoops. Uzi stream. Watch how he plays. Alright, he's trolling here. Give it a minute. Okay, so like, watch this. Let's just get into a lane phase. I don't know why it's so slow. I'm so sorry about that. It is just so fucking slow. Maybe I can just like lower the quality. Oh, it's already 480p. What the fuck? Is it because the videos are massive?
Streaming? I don't know.
Maybe it's because I'm streaming. Yeah, maybe. God, I need to like have this like literally bookmarked or something. Yeah, like watch his mouse movement here. He has a freeze right now. Okay, now it's really bad quality, but you can still take a look, right? It's gonna
Yeah,
it's gonna be
see,
yeah, like see his mouse. It's a lot faster. Like his clicks are just so quick. Look how fast they are. You may not see it, but you're gonna like. Okay, I need a moment in time where like this isn't happening. So maybe we can go into like a lane phase here or something. See what's happening. Yeah, like here. Like right here. This is a good freeze frame, I think. Once it buffers. See, like, look at his movements with Caitlyn. Oh, he's on Kai'Sa. He's on Kai'Sa. Whoops. When he's not trading. You see his mouse movements are different than yours? In the sense where they're faster, they're closer to the champion, in which he basically allows himself to dodge skill shots a lot quicker, and they're a lot more precise, and they're a lot more methodical in the sense where it basically forces the enemy to... It basically lets you be very unpredictable, where the enemy can't just like start landing skill shots onto you. Right? You're doing it a little bit, but it's still not that fast. Right?
So overall, my clicks should be closer to my champion.
A lot closer to your champion, a lot quicker as well, so you can dodge skill shots. Right?
Is that just like moving my mouse faster?
Yeah, move your mouse faster. Move
okay.
your mouse faster, and then like be able to just like, you know, yeah, you do that. It's gonna be fine. This slow push is really okay because you know, there's no objectives on the map, and I think you know this, so it's fine. And then you can basically hard shove the wave. Now I told you to not worry about Ocean Dragon. Now the reason for this is because your teammates are really bad, right? They're also really behind right now, believe it or not, because of the towers and everything, right? So if you just slow push this wave and you crash the entire thing into them, and then Jhin comes in and eats the next wave, you can actually recall, reset, and go back on the left hand side, in which then Baron comes up, and then you can simply play for Baron. Okay? That's why I basically told you to do this, which is, it's very standard play. You never really do anything else. This is all fine, whatever. I tell you to take Gromp here. Now, I tell you to take Golem here, not Gromp, but Golems here, is because this fight is extremely unpredictable. This should never happen. In essence, it should never happen. So if you just maximize your gold by taking golems while simultaneously looking at the fight, you could actually kill this golem, look at the fight, and then kite upwards while you take the camp. And then you can maybe respawn quicker instead of having to ulti down from like, you know, half the map away, right? So like, this is another issue you have. You never really look at your lanes. Not your lanes. See, I coach so many junglers that I always say this shit. You never look at the fights that are happening.
Is that the point where I should be using the F1, F2?
Well, you don't have to F key. If you're like, you don't have to F key. Like, if you're a jungler and you're high elo, yeah, start F keying. But you don't have to F key if you're an ADC. It's not necessity. But just look at least. Just take a look. Right?
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to, but you definitely have to take a look. F keys are just optional. Now, a big issue I have with you is, I mean, this is fine, right? You should know you can kill her here, right? Because this happens, right? And you know that if she blows one more spell on you, one more combo, you live and you have heal. She dies, right? And then you knew that, which is really good. You E, but like here you don't dodge E. You should know it's coming out, or not E, but QW.
Yeah.
You should immediately E here. That's your mistake, and you end up getting chunked. Like, this should be preemptive, right? Now, if there's a Leona in the lane, now I'm using Leona as a really good example, right? And there's like a fucking, I don't know. There's like a Jinx, right? Then there's the Maokai, right? Whatever. And then there's like a mid laner, fucking, I don't know, Fizz, right? And then there's like one more champion. I don't care, but you get the idea, right? There's like a Xin Zhao. Right. Well, you're technically aware of, okay, well, she can Q, but she can only Q me if I'm close to her. But she can ulti. Sorry, maybe Q, I don't know which ability is the one where she stuns you, where she throws the fucking...
It's her Q, yeah.
It's her Q, yeah. So, she can't just do that to you unless you're fucking, like, melee range Ezreal.
Right.
That's not what you do, right? So, you should only be aware of the R. Right? You should only be aware of Twisted Advance and the ultimate. Fizz, okay, you're aware of the combos, like the EQ, the QE, whatever combo, the ulti, and this shit you time in your head. And game one, holy shit, that's not a G. Okay, game 1, you track like 2 spells. Game 2, you track like 3 spells. Game 3, you track like 5 spells or 6 spells or 7 spells, right? You essentially you make this muscle memory, and eventually like by like game 50 or like by like game 100, you can simply track all the CC, and then you can play according to that. And that's what's going to give you the refinement, and that's what's going to give you the ability to start Eing in aggressively like Uzi or Double Lift or all these professional players do, because they can track this stuff. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This is what makes a good player, by maximizing your damage, and you're Diamond 4. So you are not amazing, but you're not that bad either. So you should now begin to start refining these things by maximizing your damage. That's what's going to push you out of Diamond 4. That's the difference that I see with high Diamond AD carries and Master AD carries and challengers that you may not. Now this is my bad. I should have told you to actually, you know, just, you're going to die here, but you don't. But now you ask me why not flash here? Okay, well, you die. Zinzao can't do this. Zinzao can't do this. He can't really do this. He can't do anything. He has to recall. And now Dragon's up. So now you have flash for the Dragon fight or the potential Baron fight that's going to happen. So you keep your summoners. Summoners are so vital, as an ADC especially.
So in that position, it's better just to die and not burn flash.
Yes, die, because if you just give away 300 gold, now it's different if you're like 13-0 and you're giving like 1,000 gold. That's different. But in this case, there's no objective to be taken off of it.
So what if it's a different situation, like same concept, where I have the option to like trade summoners? So I trade my flash first. Would that be worth?
Depends who and why. Because that's a very vague question. If Jin is really fed, and then you trade flash for flash, then it's worth. Because now he doesn't have flash, in which this gives your Volibear, your Olaf, and potentially your Lux the ability to actually jump and kill him.
I see, okay.
Right? But you have to understand that if you're a mid laner or if you're an AD carry, if you're bad as a mid and ADC, the game is lost. It doesn't matter if you're playing a tank, it's okay. Like, you know, there's insurance. Right? Jungle, obviously, there's insurance sometimes. But if you're not mechanical as an ADC and as a mid laner, and Dopa said this, or maybe it was Faker. I don't remember. But if you're not a good mid and if you're not a good ADC, you should not be playing the roles. That's how vital these roles are. Because you can win your team a game and you can lose your team a game single-handedly. Right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
there's so much value in the ADC role. You're the carry, right? And then in team fights, like, this is really weird, where you do this weird, like, you do this stuff where, okay, look, if Alawi pulls you, and you're out of the fight, and then Volibear gets the bright idea, because we don't know what the polar bear is thinking, and he gets the bright idea to engage, then you just lose all the damage. You lose the team fight. What's better? Chunking the Alawi maybe like 20% health, because that's all you're going to get, or winning the team fight. Because countless times, you just walk into Alawi E, trying to do damage on her, but your clicks are so far away, so you don't even get it. You don't even hit her, or she hits you all the time. And on top of that, you end up just retreating from the fight. And then when the fight breaks loose, you're like in Narnia while the fight's happening. Literally, and now you're losing damage.
Yeah.
Like, you have to think of these things. These things are really, like, they're important. Right? Likewise, if this was a Malzahar, you walk into him and he E's you, and he uses a Malefic Vision or whatever it is, and then you're like 50% health. It's not worth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. So you do these things, you will improve. I guarantee you will. But you need to actually start doing these things. I actually recommend just every day watching pro players and then just comparing and then copy paste. Okay.
Okay.
All right, man. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
No worries.